Back joining us now, Louisiana Congressman, Republican Whip in the House, Steve Scalise. Mr. Scalise, first of all, Happy New Year, sir. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Larry. Great to be back with you.
I want to ask you about these 25 House Democrat, they're calling them retirees. I was thinking of them as running scared because they see the tsunami coming. But you know much more about these things than I do. What does this mean? What does it portend?
Yeah, Larry, it's not good for Democrats, and I think that number is going to get even larger as the months go by and people in Congress realize that they are so out of touch with mainstream voters. And you saw it in Virginia, you saw it in other states. People don't want big government socialism, and yet that's what Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden have been pushing. What you also need to look at, Larry, is a lot of these swing district Democrats. You know, look at Ron Kahn in Wisconsin, where we've got a great candidate in Derek Van Orden, who was outraising the incumbent Democrat. And that's when the Democrat announced he wasn't going to run again. You know, you look at Charlie Crist down in Tampa, Florida, who said he's not going to run again. Everybody expects that seat can flip to Republican, just like Stephanie Murphy, who just announced the other day she won't run again in the Orlando part of Florida that people think will flip Republican. So there are a lot of areas that are trending our way. We've got great candidates, Larry. That's where it starts. And then you look at the wave. People are not liking the far left movement, the shutting down of schools, shutting down of the economy, all the crises, open borders, spending trillions of dollars, driving up inflation. You've been highlighting a lot of these things on your show. But voters across the country are recognizing it, too, and don't want this big government socialism that Pelosi and Biden are selling.
Well, amen to that. I was just thinking, Steve Scalise, that these retirements, so-called, quote-unquote retirements, and you say more are coming, you're probably right. Is it a good leading indicator of a big wave coming in the November election? As you read it, as a professional, can we say this is a leading indicator?
It's clearly a leading indicator when you see retirements, especially in swing districts. It worked against us in 2018, even though we had an incredible economy with President Trump, the work that you did in the White House, getting the hottest economy we'd ever seen. Yet history shows the first midterm of any new president doesn't go well for the sitting party. And it didn't go well for Republicans when we lost the majority in 18. But we had a lot of retirements in swing districts leading up to it. The Democrats are seeing that same leading indicator. And by the way, this history repeated itself in 2010. You saw Pelosi speaker with Barack Obama as president in 2009, and they moved a very far left agenda then and lost the House in the Tea Party wave of 2010. By the way, another lead indicator, back in 2009, before the Tea Party wave of 2010, the state of Virginia went from Democrat to Republican, right. And we flipped it again this time right before the midterms.
Oh, that's great. That's a great point. I forgot that point. So the cavalry's coming. So my other question today is, I guess you and Kevin and others are pulling together a kind of future agenda, Republican agenda. Maybe it's like Newt Gingrich's contract with America or not. A, I wanted to know if that's the case. B, I wanted to know where I can sign up. And C, here's the big question, Steve Scalise. Would you please put in this new agenda, make the Trump tax cuts permanent?
Permanent.
Yes, permanent.
Absolutely. And this is something we talked about. You know Kevin Brady very well. Kevin Brady was the author of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which got our economy going by cutting tax rates and making America competitive again. That rebuilt America's middle class that was going away. Joe Biden, by the way, is running our middle class out of existence again, with people being paid not to work and jobs going to foreign countries again. Let's bring those jobs back. Making the tax cuts permanent would do that. Folks going to foreign countries again. Let's bring those jobs back. Making the tax cuts permanent would do that. But we're working very hard on that type of bold conservative agenda. You know, we've talked to Newt Gingrich a lot because the contract energized a lot of people around the country behind ideas. I think, look, we could probably win the majority back just pointing out how bad the Democrats are with this big government socialism. I want to create a mandate. I want to actually have an agenda that people can get excited about to say, yeah, their ideas are really, really bad on the left, but let's move on a bold conservative agenda. And that's what we're going to be rolling out in the months ahead. You're going to be excited about it. And I think a lot of swing voters are going to be excited about it, too.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Great stuff. I love the negatives. Yep. Biden has to pay for it, the big government socialism. You're absolutely right. But I love a positive agenda, you know, optimistic growth agenda. So you're wonderful. Happy New Year, Mr. Scalise. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
It's going to be a great new year. Thanks, Larry.
I believe so.